Hello everybody and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. Today I have the difficult task of selecting the best 5 albums from 1967, and this is an impossible job. I mean, 1967 is the year in which loads of artists did their best work. So I'm gonna leave out artists who have done their best work in 1967. What can you do? Nevertheless, I stand by this list. I'm gonna kick off with Nina Simone Sings the Blues. This is one of the most beautiful albums. This is Nina Simone at her most fragile and most sincere. And you can hear there's a little bit of anger in her voice. There is frustration. But it's also fragile and it's sincere and it is so, so beautiful. This album starts out with Do I Move You, which is an incredible good song. But there is so much more. I Want a Little Sugar in My Bowl. I really like that. A very good version of The House of the Rising Sun. My Man's Gone Now. It just breaks your heart hearing her sing that song. Nina Simone is at her best on this record and I really, really love it. Now, this pressing is a first US mono pressing. It sounds amazing. Yet I have found people online who say that Dynagroove and RCA did not make their best pressings in these days. And some people prefer the Speaker's Corner version. I have not listened to that, I haven't heard it. It's quite expensive. This one isn't cheap as well. But, I really enjoyed this one. I also have a rather recent other reissue. I'm not sure who did the reissue, but that's also a very good sounding reissue because, you know what, this album was recorded very well. It sounds amazing, so if you find it, if you come across it in any store, just buy it. Buy it blindly and enjoy it. Love this album. Now, on number 4 spot. 1967 had some years which changed the way pop and rock sounded, and this is at its core. Jimi Hendrix, oh, the booklet is falling out. Jimi Hendrix Experience, IU Experienced. An amazing record. Now, I'm holding the US pressing, and the US pressing is, I think even better than the European pressing. The European version of this album is great as well, but it misses out some songs. And, okay, this album sounds amazing. Jimi Hendrix did some wonderful things with guitar and sound. Everybody knows that. But the songs on here, there are so many good songs. I mean, he kicks off the album with Purple Haze. Your opener, Purple Haze. After that, Manic Depression, Hey Joe. First 3 songs. Purple Haze, Manic Depression, Hey Joe. What are you gonna do as a listener? You just fall flat on your back and you're all ears. You're nothing but all ears and you're in the hands of Jimi Hendrix with his guitar. I mean, there are The Wind Cries Mary is on here. Foxy Lady, Are You Experienced? So many great, great songs. An amazing album. I'm holding the 2010 Bernie Grubman pressing. It sounds amazing. I have ordered the UHQR version. When it comes in, I'll do a review on the quality of that. Nevertheless, this one, which you can buy for about 10 or 20 bucks, an amazing sounding album. It is awesome. Now, why is it at the 4th spot? I mean, this should have been on top. I know, it should have been on top. But 1967, amazing year. So what am I going to put on the 3rd spot? It's this album, The Doors. The first The Doors album. Now, when I was about 17 years old, I got completely, madly, I fell in love with The Doors. And this album was at its core. There was mysticism on there. It's a brilliant set list. I mean, they opened their album with Break On Through to the Other Side. After that you got Soul Kitchen. Great song. The Crystal Ship, which is this beautiful bed of nice sound. You just lay back, get sucked into it. Alabama Song, I mean, what do you do with a Kurt Weill, Bertolt Brecht song? I mean, and make it sound like this. It's awesome. It's daring. It's awesome. 20th Century Fox is on there. Light My Fire, ending off your first side with Light My Fire. Then the second side, opening with Backdoor Man, Willie Dixon song. Great Willie Dixon song. I Look at You, End of the Night, Take It As It Comes. End of the Night, by the way, also often overlooked. Great Doors song. All these songs are great. All these songs are good. They are amazing, unforgettable. But they end off the album with The End. which is one of the best songs ever. You open your first album with Break On Through to the Other Side, and you end it off with The End. Holy, this is incredible. Incredible, brilliant album. I did a comparison between this version, this is a first US mono Monarch pressing, and I compared it to the 45 RPM Audiophile Analog Productions pressing. It's a shootout video. Take a look at my channel, you can find the comparison between the two. This album, how come it's not on the #1 spot? How come I did not put this on the #1 spot? I'm doubting while I'm holding this, but then again, it's 1967, and when I hold the next title up, you'll say, yeah, of course it's not on the #1 spot. It's an awesome, awesome, amazing, classic, brilliant album, life-changing. But this is a #2. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Now, the first time I heard this album, I grew up in a house, in a Rolling Stones house. Yeah, there were no Beatles records in our house. We did not listen to the Beatles in our house. I think the Beatles versus Stones battle is stupid, but it's where I grew up. So, when I went to high school, my teacher gave me a CD of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band because I was interested in music, and she said, you know what, you want to hear the Beatles? Start off with Sgt. Pepper's. And I sat down in front of my stereo, and I had listened to 5, 6, 7 full albums at a whole at that age. Didn't do a lot of full album listening, and I sat down and I listened to the entirety of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and my mind was blown. It was the most incredible experience. The sound on here, the idea of it as a concept. It's starting off in a sort of like a circus. What were the Beatles doing here? This is not an album with the most amazing hits. It has great, awesome, awesome songs. A Day in the Life is one of my favorite Beatles songs, one of my favorite songs of all time. But it is mostly an experiment in sound and concept and in the experience of listening. It's such a great album. Now, what I'm holding here is a first UK mono with the beautiful trippy LSD inner sleeve. Now, you might think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. I'm completely sincere in what I'm going to say. The week I bought this album, this first UK mono, I also bought a mono needle. And listening to this on a mono needle is one of the best experiences, most happy memories I have in my life. After listening to it, I listened to it again. I went on my bike, I biked into the town just to search for other mono pressings, but listening to this on mono felt like everything felt into its place. Because, and you might want to know this, because a lot of reviewers online just listen to everything with a stereo needle, which is bullshit. A stereo pressing is like this. Left, right information. A stereo needle goes into there and it reads left, right. A mono needle just goes deeper and it reads it here. The mono information is at the bottom of it. And here can be scratches. So first of all, you hear less scratches with a mono needle on a mono record, but also the sound gets deeper. It gets deeper into the grooves and you hear what the album is all about. You hear the quality of the sound. You hear what they were trying to do. It has such a great full sound. So if you can afford a mono needle, go ahead, buy one and listen to those mono records with a mono needle. It is the most beautiful experience. Now, how can an experience like that be topped? How can it be topped? It's not to be topped. It's just one of the most amazing experiences. But nevertheless, I have a #1 spot over here. An album that is so amazing. The Velvet Underground and Nico. As much as these other albums meant to me, very personal albums, 1967 had another album to offer, which for a certain period in my life, I listened to constantly, on repeat. There was a very busy, stressful time in my life when I would come home, I'd had a couple, 1 or 2 hours for myself, and I would put on this record, I'd smoke a joint, and I'd get way deep into this album. Sitting on a balcony, listening to the Velvet Underground and Nico. It was around the time when I first had an acoustic guitar, and the first songs I taught myself were songs from this album because it has so many beautiful, beautiful, great songs. The Velvet Underground and Nico is one of those records which altered the way I listened to music, the way I played music, the way I wrote songs. And it's not, I mean, my songs are not impressive or anything, but it made me think different about what I can do with an instrument, what I can do with lyrics, what I can do with my voice. It's one of the most important albums in my life. Now I'm holding up this. There's also this one I want to show you, because this is his third UK pressing, and this is an early German pressing with the original US sleeve, but somebody peeled off the banana. But supposedly this one is the best sounding version because it has the American stampers, US cover, but the American stampers and German vinyl, which was supposed to be better. And this indeed sounds amazing. Nevertheless, I know this album was not recorded perfectly. If anyone from Analog Productions is watching this video, Chet Kesem, you are releasing Verve albums, right? There are beautiful, beautiful Verve albums in your catalog. Please, please do an audiophile pressing of this album, because we, the world, the music loving world, really needs a good version of the Velvet Underground and Nico. This is a holy grail. If you can do this justice on a new repress, please do so. Now, I'm very curious what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Which albums did I leave out? Loads, I know, but I'd like to keep talking about it. So, see you at my next video. Bye.